So how could you go about validating this once you've had these conversations across these different outcomes you want to deliver? So the first thing that I would do, and we've been doing this here at Mesh, is start with generating simulated or synthetic data based on these conversations you're having. You don't need to start with connecting your device. Start with what data you think you can capture and generate that in a way that's realistic based on what you would see in the field. Curate that data in a format based on what the experts were telling you was important to them. And then you can build these really efficient dashboards really quickly to provide an opinion on how to deliver those outcomes and bring those experts back in and iterate with them on, is this useful? What changes would you make? And then also bring in people who aren't that deep of experts and see if you can close that gap between the outcomes that an expert could provide and the more average user. And one of the things that I've been really excited about over the past year is how you can start to apply AI to these solutions. And what I mean by this is, if you have data and you know the curation of that data that an expert would use to solve a given problem, you can leverage generative AI to then have an opinion and act as a reasoning engine, and then crack open all of these different forms of user interfaces, applications, and user experience that weren't possible before. In the past, in IoT, it's again to all those dashboards and data points that overwhelm users. But now you can start to generate your opinion on what they should do and feed that to them in natural language. And once you do this, I'll argue it's much easier to justify the investments of a connected product, and you can get that real data, leverage what you've already built in these inexpensive dashboards, and then this experimentation in AI, and then continue to iterate on it, because you've already have a feel for where the value is, as opposed to training your early users on this overwhelming amount of data. And instead, you can show them the value from day one instead of doing that while in the field. So really the through line here is, if you are a solution provider, focus on where you add domain expertise. It's where all the value is in your connected solutions. Be as opinionated as possible of how you deliver those outcomes in your software. And then once you have that right, then figure out how to get that foundation rock solid so it's scalable, it evolves, it's secure. And that's where Mesh Systems expertise is. So you can go and do that yourselves, or if you're having a little trouble of how to experiment with value, we have a lot of tools and capabilities to help you there. Again, we don't have the expertise in your domain, but we can ask some questions that could help you and show you some tools and capabilities that could help you later on.